Some towns in Virginia can drain your paycheck, test your patience, and even chip away at your peace of mind. That's why today we're exploring the 10 towns in Virginia you should avoid moving to, the places that rank among the worst to live in the state right now. Virginia may be celebrated for its rich history, scenic landscapes, and strong real estate markets, but the picture isn't all charming. Behind the brochures and relocation ads, many towns face challenges like high crime rates, economic decline, and even environmental concerns, serious enough to make anyone reconsider settling down. Add struggling infrastructure and unstable housing markets to the mix, and living in these places can feel less like Southern comfort and more like survival. So, before you pack your bags for what's often promoted as one of the best states to live in, take a closer look. If you value stability, safety, and quality of life, you'll want to think twice about these towns. Consider this your Virginia relocation guide with a twist, because not every community deserves a spot on your dream list. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's count down the towns that give Virginia a bad reputation. Number 10. Richmond. When you think of a state capital, crime and poor health shouldn't be the first things that come to mind. But in Richmond, they often do. On the surface, Richmond is a cultural hub filled with history. It's the birthplace of Arthur Ashe, boasts the iconic Monument Avenue, and its food scene rivals bigger cities. Yet beneath that charm, Richmond continues to pay for decades of redlining, segregation, and flawed planning. The numbers back it up. Richmond's violent crime rate is nearly double the national average, and property crime isn't far behind. Residents often feel they need near military security just to protect their homes and deliveries. Beyond crime, Richmond ranks poorly for health outcomes. A 2024 Axios report placed the city near the bottom in Virginia for life expectancy and chronic disease rates, meaning living here could literally shorten your life. The root cause? Systemic neglect. Years of underfunded schools, redlined neighborhoods, and disinvestment have created deep divides, while downtown development attracts millions in investment. The result is a city that looks polished in parts but crumbles just a few blocks away. Housing is another double-edged sword. Prices may be more affordable than Northern Virginia or D.C., but affordability often comes at the cost of higher crime, struggling schools, and overlooked neighborhoods. So ask yourself, does saving on rent justify risking your family's safety and long-term health? Many who move here discover the trade-off isn't worth it. Richmond may look like a city on the rise, but unless you bring your own security and a top-tier healthcare plan, it's a gamble best avoided. Number 9. Newport News. When a city is more notorious for crime than for its shipbuilding legacy, that's a red flag. Newport News sits on the James River, offering beautiful waterfront views, but appearances can be deceiving. The data is clear. In 2024, Newport News recorded a violent crime rate of roughly 6.5 incidents per 1,000 residents, almost double Virginia's state average. Property crime is just as concerning, making locked doors and alarm systems more necessity than precaution. The FBI's Uniform Crime Reports consistently rank it among Virginia's most unsafe cities. So why the disconnect in a city with major employers like Huntington Ingalls Industries and strong ties to military bases? The problem is uneven development. While revitalization projects spruce up downtown and the waterfront, nearby neighborhoods continue to suffer from poverty, underfunded schools, and stagnant wages. For every gleaming apartment building, there's a struggling block nearby where families face an uphill battle every day. Housing may seem affordable compared to other parts of Virginia, but what good is a lower rent if you're paying the price in safety concerns, higher insurance, or constant moving costs? And remember, Newport News is part of Hampton Roads, a region that includes other struggling cities like Portsmouth and Norfolk. When your neighbors are also near the bottom, stability is hard to come by. So ask yourself, Do you want to raise a family in a place where going outside after dark feels risky, or invest in real estate with shaky property values? Many stay because of job ties, but newcomers often face a rude awakening. In Newport news, cheap rarely means good. Unless you're here strictly for work and know exactly which neighborhoods to avoid, this is one Virginia city you'll want to leave off your relocation list. Number 8. Danville. Nicknamed the last capital of the Confederacy, Danville is a city still carrying heavy baggage. Once a thriving textile and tobacco hub, it's now grappling with the fallout of deindustrialization. The statistics paint a tough reality. Danville's violent crime rate sits around 4.9 incidents per 1,000 residents, well above Virginia's average. Property crime is also high, and the city faces one of the highest poverty rates in the state. Nearly 20% of residents live below the poverty line, almost double the national average. Median household income hovers near $43,000, compared to Virginia's $90,000. That gap reflects deep economic decline. Education struggles as well, with schools consistently falling below state standards. Job opportunities remain limited, prompting younger residents to leave in search of better prospects. While the River District has seen efforts at revitalization, cafes, shops, and loft apartments, these changes can't erase decades of systemic challenges. The irony is that Danville sits in a beautiful region with rolling hills and riverside views. From a distance, it looks like an affordable, peaceful hometown. But beneath the surface lies a city trying desperately to reinvent itself while families continue to move away. Affordable doesn't always mean livable, and in Danville, the trade-off is often too costly. Unless you're prepared to commit to its uncertain recovery, this is more cautionary tale than relocation dream. Number 7. Bristol. When a city literally shares its main street with another state, you might expect it to offer twice the charm. Unfortunately, Bristol, Virginia, often feels like it got the short end of the stick compared to its Tennessee twin. While it proudly claims the title of birthplace of country music, beyond the festivals and barbecue, Bristol faces challenges that should give any potential newcomer pause. Crime is the first red flag. Bristol ranks among Virginia's most dangerous small cities, with a violent crime rate of 4.5 incidents per 1,000 residents and property crime pushing 29 per 10,000, both well above national averages. Translation: your chances of dealing with theft, break-ins, or vandalism are far higher here than in most Virginia towns. The economy doesn't help either. Median household income sits around $45,000, just half of Virginia's statewide median of nearly $90,000. Over 20% of residents live below the poverty line, and with the collapse of local manufacturing, stable, good-paying jobs are in short supply. Schools also struggle, with test scores consistently lagging behind the state average. Housing may look affordable on paper, but stagnant property values and limited demand make it a risky investment. Cheap here often translates to forgotten. The annual Rhythm and Roots Festival does bring crowds and energy, but one weekend of fiddles and food trucks can't erase decades of economic decline. So ask yourself, would you really move your family to a city with high crime, few opportunities, and bragging rights that revolve around old recording sessions? For many, Bristol is just a convenient pit stop, not a place to build a future. Unless you're only visiting for the music festival, low-cost living here comes with too many trade-offs. Number 6. Hopewell. If you've ever wondered what happens when industrial history collides with environmental disaster, look no further than Hopewell. Once nicknamed the Wonder City, today it stands as a cautionary tale about unchecked industry, poor planning, and lingering stigma. The turning point came in the 1970s with the Keystone disaster, when a pesticide plant contaminated the James River so badly that commercial fishing was banned for more than a decade. Even decades later, Hopewell still struggles to shake its reputation as the site of one of America's worst pollution scandals, a tough sell for anyone considering a move. Safety is another concern. Hopewell's violent crime rate sits well above the state average, with FBI data consistently ranking it among Virginia's most dangerous cities. For residents, extra locks and security systems aren't luxuries, they're essentials. Financial struggles deepen the challenges. Median household income is just $44,000, less than half the statewide median, and poverty affects about 21% of residents, more than double the Virginia average. That combination makes it extremely difficult for families to build stability. Hopewell may have industrial roots and proximity to the James River, but between its history of contamination, persistent crime, and economic stagnation, it's far from the Wonder City it once claimed to be. Number 5. Fredericksburg. At first glance, Fredericksburg looks like something straight off a postcard. Its cobblestone streets, historic battlefields, and boutique-lined downtown paint a picture of charm and tradition. But beneath that polished exterior lies a city that struggles with safety, affordability, and quality of life. Let's start with crime. According to FBI data, Fredericksburg's violent crime rate is around 4.7 incidents per 10,000 residents, more than double the Virginia state average. Property crime also runs high, meaning car break-ins, burglaries, and theft are far more common than the town's family-friendly marketing suggests. The cost of living is another major concern. Median home prices hover around $450,000, while household incomes average just $66,000. That mismatch leaves many families financially stretched, paying far more than they can reasonably afford for homes that don't deliver the value expected at such a high price point. Then there's the traffic. Sitting between Washington, D.C. and Richmond may look like a strategic advantage, but in reality, it comes with one of the worst bottlenecks on the East Coast: I-95. Locals often spend hours stuck in gridlock, turning commutes into a daily grind. Tourism thrives in Fredericksburg, with visitors flocking to Civil War sites and colonial landmarks. But while tourists snap photos, residents are left managing crime, inflated housing costs, and unbearable traffic. It's the kind of place that shines on a weekend visit but quickly wears down those who call it home. Unless you're prepared to overpay for housing, worry about safety, and lose countless hours to I-95 gridlock, Fredericksburg is best left as a day trip rather than a long-term home. Number 4. Petersburg. Few Virginia cities illustrate economic collapse as starkly as Petersburg. Once a powerhouse for textiles, tobacco, and railroads, today it's a sobering example of what happens when industry disappears and reinvestment never arrives. The most alarming issue is crime. Petersburg's homicide rate ranks among the highest per capita in the nation, and violent crime here is more than 3 times the state average. For many residents, hearing sirens at night is so common it has become background noise. The economy paints an equally bleak picture. Median household income is about $44,000, less than half the statewide average, and nearly 30% of residents live below the poverty line. Many neighborhoods are dotted with abandoned houses, boarded-up storefronts, and decaying infrastructure, creating an atmosphere of decline. Housing may appear affordable, with median home prices around $180,000, but affordability means little when crime is rampant, schools underperform, and public services lag. Petersburg's public schools are consistently among the lowest ranked in Virginia, discouraging families from moving in and trapping many children in cycles of poverty. What makes it even more frustrating is Petersburg's location. Just 20 miles south of Richmond, with access to major highways and rail lines, it should be thriving. Instead, opportunity seems to bypass it entirely. It's like standing at the edge of a feast but never being invited to the table. So, while the housing market might tempt you, the reality of life in Petersburg, crime, poverty, and failing infrastructure, makes it one of the riskiest places to relocate in Virginia. Number 3. Roanoke. Roanoke brands itself as the Star City of the South, but beneath the glow of its iconic neon star, daily life feels far less bright. Crime remains one of the city's biggest challenges. Roanoke's violent crime rate stands at 5.2 incidents per 10,000 residents, more than double Virginia's average. Property crime is even more alarming, with 32 incidents per 10,000 residents. In simple terms, the chances of becoming a victim of theft or burglary are much higher here than in most other Virginia towns. The economic picture doesn't improve much. Median household income is about $53,000, far below the statewide median of nearly $90,000. Poverty hovers around 20%, leaving many families living paycheck to paycheck. Schools also struggle. Public schools often underperform compared to state standards, with high dropout rates compounding the problem. On top of this, the region has been hit hard by the opioid crisis, which drives crime rates higher and overwhelms local resources. What makes it frustrating is Roanoke's potential. Nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, the city is surrounded by natural beauty, hiking trails, and outdoor opportunities. Downtown has pockets of revitalization, breweries, art galleries, and loft apartments, but crime, poverty, and weak schools overshadow these positives. It's like owning a car that looks great but spends more time in the shop than on the road. So here's the trade-off. You may get stunning mountain views, but they won't offset the daily worries about safety, finances, and education. Unless you're willing to sacrifice security for scenery, Roanoke's star may not shine as bright as its nickname suggests. Number 2. Norfolk. Norfolk should be a success story. With the world's largest naval base, a prime waterfront location, and cultural diversity, the city has all the makings of a thriving urban hub. But beneath the surface, Norfolk struggles with crime, poverty, and uneven development. The crime stats are stark. Norfolk's violent crime rate is 6.3 incidents per 1,000 residents, nearly triple Virginia's state average. Property crime sits at 29 per 1,000, making thefts and break-ins part of daily life for many residents. Economically, Norfolk is a mixed bag. While the military provides jobs, many of them are tied to federal contracts and don't spill over to the civilian economy. Median household income is about $60,000, well below Virginia's $90,000 average, and nearly 18% of residents live in poverty. That leaves thousands of families struggling to make ends meet in a city that appears bustling on the surface. Housing adds further pressure. Median home prices hover around $300,000, but quality varies widely from one neighborhood to the next. Some areas are seeing growth, while others remain stuck in neglect and decline. Renters face rising costs and limited availability, making affordable, safe housing difficult to secure. Norfolk does have positives: a vibrant arts district, strong cultural identity, and a growing food scene. But the reality for families is less appealing: high crime, struggling schools, and a cost of living that doesn't match the income levels. So ask yourself, is it worth trading safety and stability just to live near the waterfront or catch a glimpse of Navy ships? Unless you're military with access to base housing, Norfolk often feels like more risk than reward. Number 1. Portsmouth. At the top of this list is Portsmouth, a city that doesn't just appear on Virginia's worst places rankings but often dominates them. With roughly 100,000 residents, Portsmouth has earned a reputation as one of the state's most dangerous cities, and the statistics confirm it. Violent crime is exceptionally high, 7.5 incidents per 10,000 residents, more than 3 times the state average. In 2025, Portsmouth led Hampton Roads in homicides and consistently outpaces its neighbors in shootings and assaults. Property crime is also nearly double the national average, making safety an everyday concern. The economy doesn't offer much relief. Median household income sits around $52,000, far below Virginia's $90,000 average, and about 20% of residents live in poverty. With a shrinking tax base, the city struggles to fund schools, infrastructure, and essential services. It's a vicious cycle. Crime drives people out, shrinking resources, which in turn fuels more crime. Housing is technically affordable, with median home prices under $230,000. But affordable means little when property values stagnate and neighborhoods remain unsafe. Investors may try to flip homes, but for families seeking stability, Portsmouth feels like a gamble with long odds. And that's the tragedy. Portsmouth has potential. Its historic old town, waterfront access, and location within Hampton Roads should make it an attractive city. Instead, daily life is dominated by crime, limited opportunity, and an uphill battle for residents. So let's be clear, unless your definition of adventure includes living in Virginia's crime capital, Portsmouth is a city best left off your relocation list. And there you have it. 10 towns in Virginia you should think twice about before moving to. From high crime rates to broken economies and struggling schools, these places remind us that not every corner of the Old Dominion offers southern charm and stability. Now it's your turn. Did any of these cities surprise you? Do you think some deserve a second chance, or are they exactly where they belong on this list? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss future deep dives. Choosing where to live is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make, and sometimes avoiding the wrong place is just as important as finding the right one. Stick around. We've got more countdowns coming soon that might just change the way you see your next destination.